Hi everyone, welcome to Online Yin Yoga with Nita. I'm Nita, and today we're going to be doing wall yin yoga. So all you need is the longest wall you have available. It can be as short as this one. Um, Very useful to have a blanket or a towel you can fold to maybe place under your sacrum. Blocks or thick books might be helpful for some of the postures to hold your legs, but you might not need them today. I'll just show you how to use them in case you need them. And if you have a cushion or a bolster that's not too thick that you might want to use instead of the blanket, that's also helpful. So we'll play with a lot of that today to see what works for you in each of the postures. But basically, the whole theme is feeling supported and held by the wall. Just as much as sometimes we struggle to ask for help and ask for support, it's kind of a reminder for yourself to realize that support is always here. We just have to reach out for it. Okay, so before we get started, I'm gonna pull a card for us from this deck by Gabrielle Bernstein. I'll put the link below for you. Just to give you perhaps a bit of a nudge or an intention. Of course, you're welcome to set your own intention today. Huh, this is so funny. Okay, so it says, it's safe to ask for help. People want to support me. So basically, what we're talking about today. And I randomly picked this, so this is just magical. It's safe to ask for help. People want to support me. All right, so let's get started in a comfortable seat. And I'd like to invite you to try this against the wall if it feels okay. If not, you can just sit on your mat. And I'm gonna try it on my blanket here and see what it feels like. And just try to find length on the wall. So maybe you have your legs crossed or lotus, and try to find that length of your spine where the wall is supporting you, your shoulders are down and back. Hands can be on your thighs, your knees, or perhaps on your lap. And then just find a moment to soften the gaze or close your eyes here. Rooting through the sit bones, maybe you're sitting on your blanket or a cushion here. Grounding and rising at the same time. And start to slow down your breath. Deepen in the inhales. Releasing on the exhales. Perhaps even hearing your own breath. That ujjayi breath, that ocean breath. Softening the space between your eyebrows, your cheeks, your jaw. Letting your shoulders melt down and back. Letting your arms land softly wherever they land. Feeling the earth supporting you. So first point of support here is the earth. Whether you're on a mat or carpet or just the ground, the earth is always here. What does it feel like to be held and supported by the earth? What does it feel like to root down? Imagining these roots that are coming maybe from your sit bones all the way down, feet and feet below, pulling energy from the earth and releasing at the same time. And then bring your awareness to your back against the wall. And if you're not against the wall, that's okay. But what does it feel like to be held in this position, in this seated position, by the wall or by your own seat, by the length of your spine? What does your body feel? And remember that the mind might start wandering and going to one place and another one, and that's okay. We're inviting the mind to take a seat with us here, to feel held. We're inviting the thoughts to come on in and then gently let them walk by, let them float away. And as we're playing with the wall today, just an invitation to bring some playfulness, some curiosity, and kindness. Remember that the postures don't have to look exactly the way I'm showing them. Listen to your body. Listen to your breath. And listen to yourself. And try to find that edge of sensation that's not too much, not too little, yet you're still supported. You're feeling it, but you're also held. Remembering that sometimes all we need is to pause and find a little corner here in your own space to land, to root down, to be with what is. And let energy flow in and out. So let's take a few breaths together here, inhaling deeply through the nose. Exhale it all out. Inhale and love in. Exhale and love out. One more deep inhale. Deep exhale. Then bring your palms together, create some friction here. And then bring them to your eyes. Feel in the warmth of your hands. And then slowly fluttering your eyelids open. Beautiful. Okay, great moment to take a sip of water or tea. Because from now on, we're kind of going to be against the wall here. So apologies in advance because you're going to see the back of my head a lot. But it will be great to play with this today. Okay, so we're going to get started just by sitting against the wall like this. This is, I found like this is the easiest way to just get on the wall. Before I used to just lie down and then kind of scoot. my bum against the wall, and it's kind of tricky that way. So try this and see if it works. If you want to have a blanket or something under your sacrum, I would put it right away. Because it's kind of hard sometimes to slide it on once you're up the wall. So try that. And then sit, pick a side, either side. Bend your knees and sit close to the wall, as close as you can. You might need to scoot. And then once that's good, I'm just gonna flip that out of the way. Lie down and then swing your legs up. And you might need to scoot back close to the wall for this. Okay? Good. So check in with the lower back. So if you need to slide something else, maybe a thicker cushion or pillow, that's totally okay. You can kind of like press your feet against the wall and slide something. And then check how close you want to be to the wall, and you might need to get in the posture first. So just take a moment to take a deep breath here. Just legs are up the wall, and then we're going to come into butterfly. So bring the soles of your feet together, knees open wide, and then just check in and see how close or how far you want your feet to be. So it's up to you. This is where some of these blocks might be handy, so maybe you want to stack them kind of under your knees like this, if that feels supportive. You might need to stack more books or something. So find your butterfly and see if getting farther away from the wall feels better for your sacrum or not. And once you're here, hands can be wherever you want. So maybe you want to explore cactus arms or T-shape arms. I don't have a lot of space for T-shape. Or even just placing your hands on your belly, noticing your breath. And we're going to hang out here, noticing what it feels like to be in a supported wall butterfly compared to maybe the butterflies you've done seated or reclined. Reconnecting with your breath. If your hands are on your body, feeling the inhales as the belly inflates, chest rises, and the exhales as the belly contracts and chest lowers. What does it feel like to be supported in this way? Notice if there's notice if there's any resistance from the mind, sometimes even from ego, where you're like, but I can't do seated butterfly. I can do the hardest, quote unquote, version. There is no hard or easy version. There is your version. So, and in this flow in particular, we're exploring support because I feel like sometimes we don't give ourselves the support even when it's available. So feel all the points of contact. Feel the back of your skull pressing against the earth. Chin is slightly tucked in. Feel your back grounded, your sacrum on that blanket or cushion if you have one. And if you have blocks under your legs, feel that. What is it like to not have to hold yourself up the whole time? What is it like to soften and melt? And it's a concept we explore a lot in yin where we're not holding or gripping or trying to keep ourselves up. We're actually softening, easing into it so that we can really let the posture work its benefits in our deep connective tissue. So maybe while you're in butterfly, you start opening and you start feeling like, oh, maybe I want to play without the blocks and see what that feels like. Or maybe you went too far, you want to bring the blocks back. Although we're in stillness, it's a constant dance of listening and noticing, of awareness, of redirecting, and of coming back to the breath. A couple more breaths here. Beautiful. Okay, so if you had any blocks under your legs, just slide them away for a second. And then you're going to use your hands to bring your knees together as you maybe start lifting your feet up. And then bring your legs up the wall, extended. They don't have to be perfectly extended. You can have a soft bend in the knees. And we're coming into wall caterpillar, or what it would be a version of a seated forward fold. So heels are touching the wall here. And again, you can have a soft bend in the knees, or you can be extended without like really gripping or engaging the muscles. So we're soft here. Then again, check in with your lower back. If you need to scoot closer to the wall or farther away from the wall, experience the sensations. Feet are soft, so we're not pointing or flexing. We're soft here. And then again, extend the spine, slight tuck of the chin, and hands can be wherever they land. So for this one, I'm going to explore a bit of cactus arms, which can help with opening the shoulders, chest, upper body. Reconnect with the breath if you lost it. And in these sort of mild inversions, you're welcome to close your eyes at any time or soften your gaze and come into more of an introspective state. Yin is very introspective because we're holding postures for time, so it kind of encourages us to go inward and to listen. But I find that especially in these wall supported postures, it's kind of especially intuitive to come in. And if that's not intuitive for you, if you're like struggling to stay still, you're not alone. That's okay too. Yin can be very challenging for us, especially in this fast-paced world where we're not used to slowing down and we're not used to pausing. Sometimes we don't need to do more, we just need to be more. So, what does it feel like to be here right now? A few more breaths in your caterpillar. Just a reminder that the legs don't have to be so close together. If you want to have them further apart, that's okay. Find your version. All right. Now, bend your knees, planting your feet on the wall, and maybe start widening your feet as well. Feet under your knees or around there, coming into a wall squat or a wall happy baby. So there's many variations for this. You might have your feet closer together, wider apart. So play with it and play with what it feels like to maybe have your feet further down, further up. So you might feel it in different places. Personally, further down, like I feel it a lot in my quads and hamstrings. So kind of explore the terrain a bit and find a place to stay, to hang out. So feet are planted, knees are bent. And here's another place where you can explore blocks, maybe just sliding them under your thighs. Finding an angle where they can, yeah, right there. Maybe you might need to like hold your blocks a bit so they don't fall, but like finding places and points of support, even additional points of support other than the wall that can work in conjunction with the wall. Where's your breath? Where's your chin? Try not to overextend the neck here. If your chin is pointing towards the ceiling, bring it down. And again, the hands can be on your knees. If you don't have any blocks here, you can even bring them elbows to the ground and hands under your knees here. And notice if there's any places where you might be holding or gripping. So I just noticed that I was tightening my butt, my bum, like the bum cheeks just like out of nowhere. I'm like, okay, I don't need to do that right now. So I can just send my breath there and start softening. We have a lot of habitual patterns of holding sometimes and of even creating tension unknowingly. So a lot of these practices can help us notice that. It's like, oh, okay, there's tension here, I'm holding here, I'm gripping here. And then we can use the breath and even the benefits of the asana of the posture to gently, ever so slowly start softening that. You might be feeling this in your hips. Great hip opener. Your groin, quads, hamstrings. In this last minute, I'm going to invite us to come into standard, regular, happy baby. So bring your hands under your knees or under your hamstrings here. Bring the feet off the wall, and if possible, bring the soles of the feet towards the ceiling. And hands can just hold your hamstrings under the knees, or they can go up to your calves, ankle, even your feet. Pressing the back of the skull towards the ground, tucking your chin. We're just going to hang out here for a minute to kind of finish this off. And checking with your arms. So although we might be grabbing ourselves, try to soften as much as you can. Couple more breaths. All right. Slowly release your feet. Okay, let's give ourselves a bit of a wobble here. So if you want to just give your legs a shake, just lifting your legs, and getting them off the wall so you don't kick your wall. Just give yourself a bit of a shake here. Maybe you just even want to like move your fingers, rotate your ankles, open the hips here. Maybe you even want to give yourself a few windshield wipers, pressing your feet or placing your feet on the wall and moving your knees from side to side. Bringing in some movement and rinsing what we did, okay? Just be mindful to not kick your wall too hard. All right. Bring the legs back to the wall as if you were on your caterpillar, legs extended towards the ceiling. And then gently start widening the legs, any amount. So this is great, this is great, this is great. Like literally any stopping point is great. Just check in with your space. Like look at me, I don't have a lot of space on my wall, so maybe I'm gonna have to come off the wall slightly. So if you need to shift your hips, check in with your space, make sure that you're not gonna hit anything. Be very mindful, very safe. And we're coming into straddle, so the legs are wider than your caterpillar in any stopping point. And then you can use blocks and place them under your legs if you'd like to have additional support. Knees can be slightly bent, feet are soft, so they're not tense. And then again, check in with the arms. They can also be in a wing span here. So something in between cactus and circle arms, I guess. And it's very natural since you're letting gravity kind of work here. It's natural that you're gonna feel that the legs are slightly gonna open more and more as we stay here. And that's okay. So however, if it feels like it's too much, if you're going into too much sensation where it's painful or anything like that, you can bring your legs back up and use your heels to kind of keep yourself in place. And just as a reminder, we never want to be in pain in any of these postures. So if you feel any sharp pain, burning sensation, numbing, that's an indication to come out. You're always welcome to take caterpillar again, bringing the legs together, or just take any other posture that feels good. checking in with your points of support. So the back of the skull, your sacrum, your back, even checking in with the shoulder blades here. Your arms, wherever they land. And you might feel it a lot in your inner legs here. And the same thing as the um, butterfly posture. If at some point you feel like the blocks might not be serving you, you can slide them off. Or if you didn't use them and you feel like you might benefit from additional support, please bring them in. I remember at one point in my yin practice, I thought that I had to make a choice at the beginning of each posture, and this is like, this is it. This is what I'm committing to, and there's no turning back. And I would take each posture with such rigidity that it was very constricting and very limiting to my practice because or I guess I would hope that we give ourselves the grace and the permission to play and explore, even though we're in stillness and even though we're always noticing and bringing awareness to the body, to the mind. There is grace to adjust and there is grace to move in stillness, is what I like to say. So give yourself that permission at any point. All right. Just a few more breaths here. And again, if you have any blocks, slide them off and then use your hands. So bring your hands towards your outer thigh and then start helping your legs. Oh, it might feel like they are very heavy. Closer together. Okay. To caterpillar. So again, maybe a shake here might feel quite nice. Windshield wipers are always welcome. So placing your feet on the wall, legs wide, and just bringing your knees from one side to the other side. All right. Then bend your knees. Actually, let's start with the legs extended because I want to give you a few options. We're going to come into wall swan or eye of the needle. Extend the legs up as if you were in caterpillar. And then you're going to bend the right knee and bring the right foot on top of your left thigh. So this is a beautiful place to stay. Okay. Or you can explore bending the left knee, which will bring the right foot closer to your chest. So see what that feels like. That might be quite a lot I'm feeling it a lot on my right hamstring and my hip flexor. And another option is to scoot your bum away from the wall a slightly bit to maybe reduce sensation. So if you get closer to the wall in this one, you might increase sensation. And if you get farther away, you might reduce it. Same with the placement of the foot. If you lower the foot that's against the wall, you're getting that right foot closer to your chest. That might bring more sensation. So play with that. Find your spot and then stay here. And remember that you can also just leave that left leg extended. if that feels better for you. This would be a wall version of swan, also known as pigeon. Lots of animal names. Or also known as eye of the needle. Typically in a practice, we would have our hands kind of under that left thigh to help bring the legs to the chest. Or we can also use blocks. But in here we have the wall, which is beautiful. Feels supportive, rounded. Check it with the arms. So I'm going to try a different one for this one. I'm going to place my palms down on the ground, really feeling the ground beneath me. Checking in with my points of support. The foot against the wall, my lower back, my shoulders, my whole upper back here grounded, back of the skull, my arms, my hands. Feels very stable. But that's just me. So what does it feel like for you? Notice it. And notice what you notice. Softening your feet, your toes. Softening your fingers, your arms. And if the mind wanders, remember your breath is your anchor. You can always come back to it. We have about a minute here. Check in, see if you need to adjust anything. Remember, you have that grace. You always have that permission. Just have to give it to yourself. About 2 or 3 more breaths. Okay, check in with your space. So if you have any blocks, like me, just set them aside for a second. I don't want them to be on the way here. We're gonna come into a reclined twist. I'm gonna give you a few options, but first I want to explore what it feels like to twist after this wall swan. So you're gonna let your legs fall towards the left here, just like you were in your figure 4 or in your swan. Letting your chest or your shoulders stay grounded. So see when my feet did. So I'm going to come back. When I let it fall, my left leg kind of naturally extends here. I guess you can keep it pressed to the wall, but that might be a lot of sensation just to so play with that. Might feel a bit more stable to let the bottom leg, the left leg extend, and then let the chest stay grounded. So if you need to scoot yourself towards the left here to let both shoulders ground a bit more, do that. And see if you want to get closer to the wall. Like I kind of want to get closer here. There we go. So that's one option. If you're not feeling the wall swan to reclined twist version, you're welcome to come out of your wall swan, bend both knees, bring them to your chest, and then let them fall towards the left. So that's another option. And you can always place a bolster or any props under your legs. So play with that. I kind of like this wall swan to twist version, so I'm going to come back to this. So my bum is pressed against the wall here. My bottom leg is extended. And my right leg is bent sort of in a figure four shape. But again, take whatever reclined twist feels good for you right now. And arms can be on a T shape or cactus. And your gaze can be upward or to the right for a deeper twist. Notice what the spine feels like here. You're also massaging your internal organs, so it's great for digestion. And check in with your neck. If you went too far, like I just did, I realized that looking right is a lot for my neck today. So I just came back to gaze up the ceiling, and that feels way better. So sometimes it just takes a bit of exploring to find your version and then linger there. Sometimes we go too far, just like in life, and we might have to take a step back and really listen. So it is a practice of listening, constantly listening, learning and unlearning, and coming home to yourself, to your truth, and to what you need at any given moment. Not what you needed yesterday, not what you think you need, what you truly need. Hmm. Give yourself a few more inhales here. And then very slowly help yourself come back up. So maybe you need to grab your left hand to help bring your all of your legs, all of your legs, both legs up. Extend them, give them a shake. Maybe bring knees to chest here. Sway from side to side. Whoop. Give yourself a hug. Okay, Then we're gonna come into wall swan on the other side. So extend the right leg, bend the left knee, and place the left foot on top of that right thigh. I'm gonna need some tea here. There we go. Oh. Place it up over the right thigh. So beautiful place to stay. Remember that this can be a great stopping point. Or maybe you explore bending. Ooh, my left hamstring's talking. Bending that right foot and placing it on the wall. See what I had to do there? So just using my body is a great way of exploring this. So my left hamstring is very tight. So this is, I need to come off the wall a lot for this one. And that's okay. So this is where I'm at today. That's great. So I want to have the support of the wall. So I want to bend my knee and have my foot on the wall there. That feels good. But I just can't be as close because my hamstring would be in pain there. So I want to be at a place where I have enough sensation, but I can also linger. I can be here for time. So that feels great. So find that. So find the how far or how close you want to be to the wall where you feel enough sensation in your hamstring, your hips, and then see where you want your hands to land. Maybe you want to explore the palms down, grounding hands within the other side, or you can take different hands. So I think there's something to be said about when we're finding our stopping point, we have maybe the first stopping point and we linger there and we check in, right? So it doesn't have to be your final edge, your total edge of sensation right away. It can be your first stopping point. Actually, that is the invitation of yin, to find your stopping point and check in. And then maybe if and when the body opens after holding for time, then you find your next stopping point. Until you're at the edge of sensation there, whatever that edge is for you. So we don't have to go right away to the edge, especially if we're going to be holding these postures for 5 minutes or so. You have to give yourself the grace and the opportunity to find a place where you can linger, where you can really benefit, versus putting your body into these shapes just for the sake of doing that, right? So, and we do that a lot, but that's the practice. Reminding ourselves that we don't have to. Remember to have a slight tuck of the chin. Rooting through your points of support. So the foot on the wall, sacrum, shoulder blades, hands, arms, back of the skull. Okay, a couple more breaths here until we find our reclined twist. So whatever option you picked for the previous twist, see if you can do that on this side. Just check in. I know that both sides are not the same, but check in and see. And if not, find a version that works for you. So very slowly, I'm gonna find some space for myself here. So I'm gonna scoot to the left. And very slowly start dropping those legs. Ooh. See, so my drop those legs to the right. My hamstring is so tight that this version is not serving me on this side. So I am gonna go with the second option of knees bent and just dropping both knees to the right. And again, arms can be open in T shape or cactus. Maybe you scoot into the right a bit so you can ground both shoulders. And the gaze can be up or to the left for a deeper twist. My neck is not feeling the gaze left here either, so I'm gonna keep gaze up. How does this side feel? I'm definitely tighter on this side, and I can feel that. Reconnect with the breath. Soften the fingers and the toes. As we're coming to wind down to the end of the practice, start noticing what it felt like to be held the entire time by a wall and the ground. Sometimes we take it for granted. The earth we walk on, the earth that holds us, and even the walls that we have around us. So just take a moment, appreciate that. And remind yourself that you don't have to do the whole full like 60-minute wall practice, but you can have legs up the wall sometimes, or just sit against the wall and feel the support in your spine. There's ways you can bring a little bit of this into your practice, into your day. All right, very slowly use your right hand, slide it under your legs here, your bottom leg here, and help yourself come up. Any movements you need, maybe some shakes, maybe hugging your knees, coming from side to side. And then once you fall on either side, just let yourself come to any side, left or right, for a moment on a fetal position. And then help yourself come up. I'm going to bring us to a very short sphinx just to give our backs a bit of a bend here. So for this, try to get your knees as close as you can to the wall and then come to lie on your belly. And then you can scoot yourself back. Okay, so just place your forehead on the mat for a second. Check in here. You might not need, if you had a blanket or something, you can slide that off actually, or that cushion. And then very slowly lift your chest and bring your forearms to your mat, elbows under, shoulders, or slightly forward, coming into Sphinx. So check in and see if you want to bring yourself closer to the wall to kind of rest your legs on the wall, and then check in with the placement of your hands. So if that's too much sensation for your lower back, you can walk the hands forward. Or if you need more sensation, then walk your hands toward you. And then look ahead. Remember that there's always options to rest your forehead on a block or even on your hands here. We're just going to be here for a couple minutes. If for any reason you need more sensation, I find that this is already a lot for many people. You can have a bolster under your forearms to increase your height, and that would increase the sensation on your lower back. And if you're like, I'm not feeling wall sphinx at all, then just lie on your belly and integrate there. Separate your shoulder from ears. Feel the support of the earth. Feel the support of the wall. All right. And very slowly come down. And you can place your forehead on your hands and give yourself a few windshield wipers here. So basically, the same you would do on the regular windshield wiper of like letting your legs fall from side to side, but on your belly. And then from here, we're going to come into Shavasana. So sip of water or anything you need, perhaps tea, perhaps a blanket. And taking all the space you need. Have a little bolster here, bring along. And just take space. Letting the body sink heavily on the ground. Softening the gaze or closing your eyes. And feeling held by the earth. I'm going to share a reading before I let you float away in your Shavasana. It's called To Be Held by Linda Hogan. To be held by the light was what I wanted. To be a tree drinking the rain, no longer parched in this hot land. To be roots in a tunnel, growing, but also to be sheltering the inborn leaves and the green slide of mineral down the immense distances into infinite comfort. And the land here, only clay, still contains and consumes the thirsty need, the way a tree always shelters the unborn life, waiting for the healing after the storm, which has been our life. Waiting for the healing after the storm, which has been our life. Slowly start waking up your fingers and toes. Or if you'd like to stay here in your Shavasana longer, please do. And if you want to come to a seat to close the practice with me, just take a moment to first come to a fetal position on either side. Taking your time. And then very slowly guiding yourself to a seat. And once you're there, sitting tall, hands on your lap or on your thighs, and let's take a few deep breaths together, inhaling deep through your nose. Exhale through the mouth. One more inhale. Exhale. Bring the palms together. Create some friction. And then place them on your heart. Feel that warmth. Remind yourself that you can always ask for support. Sometimes you just need to reach for it. Whether that's a wall, a friend, a loved one, or even yourself. Bring the hands together to heart center. Inhale. And exhale, bowing. Namaste. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.